Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to this installment of Dads on Wrestling. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams.
And I am Jeff Meacham, and I can't believe we're this far into the comeback already. We're deep, what is it now, 2-3 months now? It's madness. Absolute madness. And I apologize, because I break kayfabe anyway. We're taping this show in mid-May. I am fresh off the buzz, off the celebratory beer from the Kings beating the Ducks that Statboy owed me. And
this episode's probably going to go up at the beginning of July, which means that whoever has won the Stanley Cup has already won it. Yeah. And we're talking about the freaking Western Conference semifinals right now.
That's okay.
God damn it, Jeff.
I don't care. Whatever. But I'm glad to be here because we have 3 distinct topics submitted by a very special submitter.
And who would that be, sir?
Well, you know, if you're seeing this in July, that means I missed Father's Day when we tape. So
because we probably filmed the episodes that went up for Father's Day in like April
or March. Yeah. You know, yeah.
Because we're that committed to the comeback. God damn it.
So, in honor of my son, Asylum, and if you haven't watched WWA, you don't know what I'm talking about.
The Father's Day episode we did at Clothing Company.
Oh, that's right, with the clown. That's right. Asylum the Clown was my son from another mother. And in reality, Robert Williams, Skits.
Yes, we know him as Skits.
3 different topics. And, you know, I figured, you know what, let's just call this the Skits and Friends Comedy Hour.
There we go.
Because, damn it, he's in the theater anyway. So
improv and comedy.
That's right. So, the first one that Skits sent was, how, because you put a post on your work Facebook. You have a topic for Jeff and I, comment here. Skits went to town. He submitted 3 different topics. I'm going to use
To be fair, everybody went to town. We probably got about 20 topic suggestions.
Something like that.
Which, if we filmed them all during this session where we're filming this one, then we're fucking straight through probably like September.
October, yeah.
So, you know, we're not going to do that, I don't think. But, you know.
I am here all week. So, you know,
there you go.
That's right.
It's very possible.
It's very possible. First one, he says, how about the effect steroids had on the industry and how it shifted into what it is now?
Well, obviously, steroids had a negative impact on the industry.
Definitely.
So much so that, you know...
It was regulated quickly.
So many deaths as a result of steroid and drug abuse in general.
Right.
You know.
The most prominent officially being Eddie Guerrero, because there was steroid use linked to him in the 2007 scandal after he passed.
Yes.
Most prominent alleged, which was never proven, Chris Benoit. But it even goes back to the effects on the late 80s, early 90s with George Hogan. George Sahorian, I want to say his name was, the doctor that prescribed back in the day, if you can believe that, prescription steroids to various members of the WWF roster. And how in the late 80s, early 90s, when the whole thing was really starting to come down around them, the WWF and Vince McMahon distanced themselves from Dr. Sahorian, and everybody was like, you can't talk to this guy anymore. And as far as the impact today, I mean, think about it. The greatest example I have right now of the impact today is Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, who was on steroids to get bigger, WWE big, after being cruiserweight little for so long in WCW.
Yeah. He was, what, like 199 pounds in WCW?
He was 175 in WCW. Yeah. And they still claimed he was WWE, which, yeah, he's changed all that water in his different parts of his muscles. Yeah, he still weighs 175. Okay. That's why he's gone out in 20 times. Like, literally 20 times.
Yeah. I've had surgery 5 times on my left knee. And now I think it's 6 or 7.
6 or 7, something like that. Yeah, and just on the one knee. The other knee's fucked too.
Yeah.
So
because he's carrying too much weight in his small frame.
Yep. And that's not saying he's still doing steroids to this day, but over the course of all that use, it has an impact.
Yeah.
You know?
John Cena, everyone swears, has done steroids. You know, to get as jacked as he was.
Yeah, and there's debate back and forth on that. But, you know, if he did, he hasn't been caught.
This is true.
But you look at a guy like Batista, who at his biggest was a huge.
Chris Masters.
Chris Masters. We'll always talk about Chris Masters. Always. There's always talk when a bigger guy debuts, or a big muscular guy, Mason Ryan, you know,
Big E.
Big E. Yeah, Big E, they're talking about him now. It's like, come on, guys.
Pinky swears that Big E has done roids because she saw him in Florida and he was not that jacked.
Right. Well, he's also been in that gym that Cena basically bestowed upon the WWE.
True, but how jacked can you get naturally without just a little bit of enhancer kicking the ass?
A little bit maybe, but again, hasn't been caught. The difference is between the 80s and the 70s and before, Superstar Billy Graham, Hulk Hogan, those guys.
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura even. Part of Jesse Ventura has health problems to this day because of steroids. You know?
It always kind of made me laugh that, Hulk Hogan talked about say your prayers, take your vitamins, and he's really talking about roids.
And Roddy Piper was like, folks, I took some serious vitamins. Like, even Roddy tried them. Damn it. So did Flair, he said in his book. Give me the book. Flair did too. Yeah. They all have tried it, or at least the older guys tried it in the 80s and the 70s. But now there's such a taboo on it. There's like a blacklisted child type thing where you don't
like a Benoit.
Like a Benoit. Very much so, where you don't want to be caught doing that. So if you do that, then you're going to be in trouble. And there's such a huge wellness policy code on that you could lose your job very quickly.
Big time.
So I think the impact now is far less than we believe it to be.
Quite possibly.
In my opinion.
I hope we answered that question to your liking there, Skids.
Yes. The next one. How about wrestlers that like to put over the new guy versus wrestlers who are still in it for themselves past their prime?
Don't get me started about the no-job squad in the WWE.
Exactly.
Look at Sheamus right now.
But
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton's lost a lot lately, though. He lost in WrestleMania. He lost, he's lost quite a bit.
For a minute there, he was a serious no-job squad member.
Very much so.
Cena.
But it's not as pronounced as it was in the days of the NWO, and even before when Hogan was a babyface in the WWF in the 80s, where if he lost a match, some serious shit was going down. Granted, I will grant you that there's far more guys that aren't in their prime that should be losing. Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, older guys that should be put over, The Shield, Big E, Wade Barrett, who's Intercontinental Champion as of this taping. Cody, Kofi, Drew, all those guys should be put over, but again, you've got the guys holding them down. The greatest example of that is one that's, as of this taping, the frustrated guy, Damian Sandow, and Dolph Ziggler, and Alicia Fox, and all those people that should be put over, but the established people are keeping them down, so we're led to believe. Yeah. Again, this could be all storyline related too.
It could be, but when a guy like Triple H, who's supposed to be retired and running the company, feels the need to take himself out of retirement to reform Evolution, it's like, why? So that you can get victories that you don't need anymore?
Yeah, Triple H is not needed to be on a pay-per-view since SummerSlam 12. Just saying. Brock is the one that should have won that feud. He did win that match. That should have been the end of it. Anything from then on has been...
Triple H should not have been on a pay-per-view since End of an Era.
Also true. I'll grant him SummerSlam only because he was the authority that Brock challenged against Laurinaitis, and Triple H was really in charge, and Brock challenged him and broke his arm and called his punk cards. So having to come out of retirement to play that battle, but he lost the match. Over.
Yeah. Don't get a rematch at Mania and win.
Exactly.
You just cheapened Brock, who, granted, is a part-timer in of himself, but you just totally took away any validation and thunder from him.
It's very much the same story as it's always been in the business. It's just there's less of it now, I feel, than there used to be. Because back in the WCW days, back in the old WWF days, there were far fewer guys winning all the time compared to a more even flow of victories and defeats for everybody now.
In WWE, maybe, but what about TNA?
To be fair, I don't watch TNA anymore. So
I haven't watched TNA for a long time either, but think about what was going on in TNA, let's say a year ago. Okay, we had the Aces and Eights, and all that stuff going on, and your champions were more established guys that maybe didn't need to have the belt anymore or didn't really deserve it. You know, as good as Bully Ray was, did he really need the title? Angle is always in the title picture with the belt, Sting, etc.
Right.
Now you got guys like fucking Eric Young getting the belt.
Right.
You know, is part of that because Hogan isn't there anymore, holding the guys down? Was a lot of that Hogan influence?
Could be. Hogan, Bischoff, Russo, although Russo was always for the young guys, so he said.
You know, I mean, Eric Young is a great wrestler. Is he TNA World Heavyweight Champion material? No, absolutely not.
I don't think so. I don't think he ever has been.
But he's one of those guys that, almost like Funaki with the Cruiserweight title, has done so much to help the company. It's like, here's a bone. It may not be for long, but thank you.
Right.
You know, TNA has been very guilty of that, more so than WWE for a long time, I think.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if the absence of the Hogan Bischoff influence is what's starting to get some of these other guys out there. I mean, you've got the Beautiful People with the Knockouts title now.
Right, yep.
You've got, you know, as far as I know, it was Jesse and Robbie E, I think, were the tag titles.
No, actually, it's the Wolves again, I think.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Okay, so the Wolves, who are young guys,
right.
definitely deserving. X Division title is who now?
The Japanese guy, I forget his name.
Okay, young guy.
Yeah.
Eric Young, not as young anymore, but held down for so long. Look at how much of a joke they made him.
Right.
Over his career. You know, he used to be just Team Canada Showtime Eric Young, then it was the Don't Fire Eric.
Right.
Then it was the goofy gimmick. I don't even remember what his masked gimmick was for a minute there.
With ODB.
No, the masked gimmick. Remember, he was sort
of so Super Eric.
Thank you, Super Eric.
Yeah.
You know, then he was supposedly like the Team Elite leader for a minute there. We were supposed to buy him. World Elite. We were supposed to buy him as like this serious heel after everything.
Right.
Then he went back to being a joke, you know, ODB's bitch.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then the third topic from Skits, my phone went crazy, so I apologize for that, but he basically asked about what about the hunger for the guys in the indies? And is it harder to become a wrestler now than it was in the 80s and 90s? I don't think it's harder, but I think it's harder to become a successful wrestler as far as make it to the WWE and TNA than it was.
As far as being a guy that wears a pair of tights and wrestles on the weekends, I think it's a lot easier this day and age than it used to be.
Right.
Because any Tom, Dick, and Harry with, you know, a couple $100 and a twinkle in his eye can sign up for a wrestling school.
Right.
And if he sticks with it, get gigs at a local indie show.
Right. Makes sense.
You know, go to the Trash Bag Wrestlers page on Facebook and look at all the guys that work indies that really probably shouldn't be touching a wrestling ring based on their appearance.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, definitely as far as being successful, it's harder, I think, because there's so many out there with that twinkle in their eye.
And there's so few spots left on a main roster, even a Ring of Honor roster.
Yeah, you have WWE, TNA, ROH, and if you really want to go there, you've got AAA, CMLL, IWGP, and New Japan.
Yeah, well, IWGP is New Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they were
All
separate
Japan.
or together.
All Japan. Oh, no, I think All Japan's gone now.
So you got like 6 or 7 companies, major companies, that you can work for. Which sounds like a lot, but you've also got to look at where they're located. 2 in Mexico, 1 to 2 in Japan,
one major one in the United States that goes all over the place.
Yeah.
One that primarily tapes in Orlando once again. And then one that travels, you know, the Northeast and the Southeast United States with occasional full raids out here, you know, and even in the Midwest, like Chicago and things like that for Ring of Honor, but nothing really major across the country.
Yeah, no.
They had TV deals across the country, but not everywhere.
Yeah, and we talked about that, you know,
on a previous show.
On a previous show, yeah. I think it was the one pre-predictions that went up about the territories, what if the territories still existed with internet and TV and everything.
If the territories existed, there'd be a lot more successful wrestlers out there doing their own thing. But again, they wouldn't be WWE superstars or TNA wrestlers or Ring of Honor wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, skits, I hope we got those okay. I hope we addressed them to your liking.
Yeah, we blew through them pretty quickly at the end of the day. I've been keeping a timer here, stopwatch, so we knew when to cut it since there's no cameraman.
Okay.
We're only at about 15 and a half minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm impressed about how quickly we breezed through this, but I also hope that we answered everything to your liking, Skits.
All right, so thank you very much for watching, everybody.
If we didn't, you know where to find me. Come sit in this chair and we can three-way debate this.
That's right. So thank you, Skits, for the suggestions. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Dads Are Wrestling. I am Jeff Meacham.
I'm the Renegade of Wrestling, and we'll see you next time.